You wake up on a morning that seems ordinary, but something in the space no longer holds the same rhythm as yesterday. The old room is still there. The familiar light still falls on the wall, as it always does. The glass of water on the table remains perfectly still in its place, but the feeling inside your body no longer matches the setting. It is not an event, and it is not a mystical sign, but just a very small deviation, enough for you to notice that the world around you is no longer aligned with the rhythm within. The sensation is so subtle that if you were a little more busy, you would miss it, but it is still there, quietly, like a thin crack running across the surface of your life. You stand up, you walk, you do the familiar things, but every movement seems to carry a different weight. Not heavier, not lighter, just different. As if your body is searching for a new frequency that your mind has not caught up with. You look in the mirror and see yourself, but the eyes reflecting back hold something unfamiliar. Not exhaustion, not confusion, but a silence before a change you have not yet named. You no longer feel fully inside what once felt familiar, but you have not stepped into anything entirely new either. You are in between, and this in between has its own rhythm. Many people think moments like this are signs of emptiness, regression, or life standing still. But the truth is the opposite. These small deviations rarely appear randomly. They often signal that your energetic system is reaching the limit of the old version of you. Life does not change through sudden lightning strikes. It changes through very small disturbances in your daily perception, subtle points of misalignment that your body notices before your mind understands. When your inner frequency begins to shift, the outer world loses its familiar sync. Not because the world is changing, but because you are no longer standing in the same place as before. Every person goes through moments like this at least a few times in life, but most do not know they are touching a threshold. Adults are used to explaining everything through logic, but some experiences do not belong to logic. They belong to the subtle sensitivity of the body. That is when your body tells you that the old cycle cannot continue. This sense of slipping rhythm is not a signal of anything negative. It is not a sign that you are going backward. It is proof that your old version is becoming too small and you are preparing to step out of it. The body always knows before the mind. When the energy you carry no longer fits the shape of your current life, you will feel it first through the lightest things. You talk to someone familiar but no longer feel the same connection. You sit in a room that has always felt like home but suddenly feel like a visitor. You look at an old scene but sense it in a completely different way. This is not loss, this is release. When a reality is about to end, it does not collapse, it quiets down. The rhythm around you seems to slow slightly, as if time is making space for a new structure to form. For many people, this is when they believe they are repeating an old cycle, but in truth, you are not stuck. You are standing at the intersection between the old frequency and the new one. The deviation you feel is the signal that you are no longer living in alignment with the old structure. When an old version no longer has the strength to hold you, it creates a feeling of emptiness, looseness, instability. Not to warn you of danger, but to remind you that the new frequency is closer than you think. These moments are often very quiet, but it is the quietness of a door opening. Adults are taught to be strong, to be rational, to hold their roles, but very few are taught how to recognize the subtle moments when life is preparing to change direction. When you feel reality slightly slip out of rhythm, do not try to force it back into the old shape. Let yourself feel what no longer touches you the same way. Because right here, in this slip of rhythm, is the point where the new frequency begins to speak. Not loud, not dramatic, just a shift so real that your body knows you have already begun stepping out of your old reality, even if you have not yet admitted it in words. This is not a moment of losing direction. This is a moment of deep movement. When reality feels slightly strange, it is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you no longer belong to the old version. And only those who are sensitive enough will realize they are standing where one life cycle ends and another is about to begin. You feel like you have done everything people taught you to do. You try to adjust your thoughts, keep a positive attitude, set new goals, imagine a brighter future. You read books, meditate, try to heal, try not to react too quickly, try not to let old emotions pull you down. You do all of that with one simple hope that your life will shift in a better direction. But then you look back and feel like everything is moving slower than you imagined. Old emotions return. Familiar situations show up again. Your body still reacts in the same way it has reacted for decades. It is not because you are not trying. It is because you have tried so hard that the stagnation confuses you even more. But the truth is simple. You are not stuck because you lack effort. You are stuck because your energetic system is sending out two opposite signals at the same time. Your intention sends out a new frequency, but your body still holds the memory of the old frequency. Two different sounds playing in the same room, two different rhythms running inside the same person. Only one of them has to be out of sync for the whole system to become distorted. And that distortion is what creates the feeling of standing still that you are experiencing. The human body does not change the moment the mind decides to change. The mind can say, you want a new beginning, but your nervous system still holds old reactions, old emotions, old memories, old patterns that it has practiced for many years. When you try to rise into a new frequency, but your body still emits the old one, you do not move anywhere. You only create a field of conflicting vibrations. And within that conflict, your reality reflects the confusion back to you with complete honesty. You want more, but still behave the same. You set new goals, but your emotional reactions are still the reactions of the old self. You say you are ready for a better version of you, but your body still shrinks back from opportunities in the same way it did in the past. You think you are stuck, but in truth, you are standing between two opposing forces. One force pulls you toward the future you desire. One force pulls you back to the old safety zone your body once knew. And when the two forces are equally strong, you will feel like you are not moving at all. An adult is not stuck because they do not know what to do. An adult is stuck because there is no inner agreement. The mind says go. The body says stop. The mind wants to open to something new. The body wants to hold on to what is familiar. This is misalignment, the frequency gap you keep mistaking for failure. But the truth is you have not failed. You are simply broadcasting two signals at once. The world does not respond to what you want. It responds to what is most stable inside your body. When a new intention only lives in thought but has not yet lived in your heartbeat, your breath, the way you stand, the way you feel yourself, it cannot become reality. That is why you feel like nothing is changing, even though you have tried so much. It is not because you are not strong enough. It is because your new frequency is not yet stable enough to replace the old one. When your body still holds on to old fear, old emotion, old pain, then no matter what your mind says, the field hears the frequency of your body first. You can say positive affirmations, but if your inner voice still carries the tone of doubt, the field will respond to doubt. You can visualize an open future, but if your body is still contracting from past wounds, the field will respond to the contraction. The field does not respond to hope. It responds to the stability of the signal. When you want one thing but live as the opposite, the system will mirror the dissonance, and you call it being stuck. But no, it is the sign that a new version of you is demanding space. Look at the life you have right now. you will clearly see the moments where the old frequency pulls you back. When you are about to change, an old fear rises. When you are about to open your heart, an old fracture resurfaces. When you're about to step into something new, your body reminds you of the failures of the past. It is not random. It is the natural reaction of the body when the old frequency is about to be replaced. When a life cycle is preparing to close, it sends out one last signal to see if you are truly ready. And most people mistake that signal as a sign to stop. This is the moment when you think you are repeating an old reality, but in truth, you are standing exactly at the point where the new frequency and the old frequency meet. The tension you feel is proof that you are getting closer to a different reality. Older Americans are very familiar with the idea of enduring, trying, pushing through difficulties, but sometimes effort does not move the system. Sometimes what you need is not to be stronger, but to be more aligned. Alignment matters more than effort. The body must agree with what the mind wants. And when these two match, you do not need to push life forward. Life moves on its own. If you are reading this and feel that it touches your own experience, leave a small comment to affirm that you are stepping into a new alignment. It can be a lucky number like 111 or 777 or simply the sentence "I am aligning." By leaving that signal, you are telling the field that you are ready to shift out of the old frequency and step into the vibrational space where life can begin to respond to you with what matches the person you are becoming. Reality does not respond to the words you speak, and it does not respond to the things you silently hope for. The field responds to the way you are stable within yourself. Not the moments when you try to appear positive, but the moments when you return to your most natural state where no one is watching. Every person carries a unique vibrational field, and that field is not created from fleeting thoughts, but from repeated emotional rhythms, familiar reactions, and the way the body remembers life. When you emit a stable signal, the field mirrors that signal with precision, without bias, without judgment. The field does not care about what you want. The field only registers what you are. When you are stable in lack, it mirrors lack. When you are stable in worry, it mirrors situations that make you worry. When you are stable in old pain, it creates circumstances for that pain to repeat. Not to hurt you, but to confirm the synchronicity between you and the signal you emit. The field does not understand desire. The field understands repetition. Each time you replay an old emotion, it is a signal that you are still living in that frequency. That is why you can read positive books, speak positive affirmations, and still feel like your life is running on a familiar track. When the body holds old fear as a habit, and the mind only loosely wishes for something new, the field will choose the stronger signal. And the stronger signal is always the one practiced for years, the signal the body knows by heart. The field is not persuaded by what you want. It is persuaded by what you are used to. When an adult spends many years in states of defensiveness, doubt, control, disappointment, or endurance, these states become the default vibrational foundation. You may want peace, but if your body is used to reacting with tension, the field will mirror tension because that is the signal you are most stable in. You may want a healthy love, but if your body is familiar with vigilance or hurt, the field will mirror situations that make you pull back because that is the frequency it receives most strongly. This mirroring is never punitive. It works like a synchronization system. When you change one part of your signal but do not change the rest, the field will choose the strongest part to respond to. This creates the illusion that your life is not changing even though you have made great effort. But in truth, every signal you send is heard. It is simply that the most stable part of you decides the outcome. When the frequency of your new intention is not strong enough to replace the frequency of old memory, the field will respond to the old memory because it is the dominant vibration. In the moments when you think your life is looping back into an old cycle, look more closely. What is actually happening is that the field is mirroring the strongest vibration in your field. If you want to see something new, the new frequency must be lived through the body, not just thought in the mind. The field works like a still lake. When you are steady, the surface reflects you clearly. When you are too agitated, the reflection becomes distorted. The lake has no good or bad intention. It simply reflects what you give it. The field is the same. It does not reject you. It is simply so honest that sometimes its honesty makes you believe you are stuck. Many people believe that that thinking positively will bring good things from the field, but the field does not hear thoughts. It hears the frequency beneath the thoughts. It hears how you truly feel about yourself. It hears how you react when you are not prepared. It hears how you breathe when something new happens. It hears the emotions you repeat when an old memory is touched. Those things have more power than any affirmation you repeat. When you understand this law, you stop feeling like you are doing something wrong. You realize you are not broken and life is not abandoning you. You see clearly that the field is always responding truthfully. You just have not looked at its response as a map pointing back to your own frequency. A crucial truth is that each time you change even a small part of your frequency, the field records it, but it needs you to stabilize in the new frequency long enough to generate a new response. Many people become impatient and return to old habits before the new signal has time to settle because they assume the change is not working. But when you understand that the field requires stability, you stop expecting instant results. You begin focusing more on keeping the new signal alive in your body rather than forcing the outer world to change immediately. When you are stable in peace, you begin to see outer situations soften. When you are stable in appreciation, you begin to receive opportunities that do not feel forced. When you are stable in presence, the interactions around you become gentler. The field does not create what you demand. The field creates what you are. So the question is not what you want, but what feeling you are most stable in. You can measure this by noticing the first reaction of your body when something unexpected happens. That first reaction is your true frequency. When you begin to recognize this, you see clearly that the field is never silent. The field is always answering, even when you do not like the answer. Every real-life response you receive is a mirror of the inner state you carry each day. And when you see this, you understand that true shift does not begin with trying to force the external world to be different. It begins with stabilizing an inner frequency strong enough that the field can no longer mirror the old one. When you change your inner rhythm, the field changes its response. When you hold that rhythm, the field changes reality. This is not magic. This is the natural mechanism of how reality operates. When you understand this, you no longer feel like you are walking in circles. You understand that the moment you stabilize the new frequency, the field will immediately adjust to match you. And that is when life begins to move in the direction you have long desired. The old self does not return to pull you down. It only echoes because its frequency has not fully dissolved from your body and your emotions. Each time you move closer to a new version of yourself, the old system releases its final reverberations, like the lingering echo of a room that has just been left behind. Not to stop you, but because energetic memory does not disappear the moment you decide to change. It fades gradually, layer by layer, and this very fading creates the feeling that the past is clinging to you, even though in truth you have already stepped far beyond it. Old emotions rising again are not signs that you are regressing. They are signals that your system is restructuring and that the new frequency you are holding is strong enough to push the old frequency out of its familiar position. The return of old fear, old sadness, old reactions can make you doubt yourself. You think you are going back to the beginning. But if you look more closely, you will see that these emotions no longer paralyze you the way they once did. They appear and disappear faster. They rise, but no longer have control over you. They are like echoes from a room you have already stepped out of, and the echo only exists because you are still close enough to hear it. The adult body stores memory through sensation, not logic. So, even when your mind has accepted the new version, the body still needs time to adjust. It is not trying to hold you back, it is replaying old patterns because they were once what it used to keep you safe. Every negative emotion that returns has one final task. It wants you to look at it without fearing it anymore. When you can look without reacting, that is when the old self understands that it no longer has a role and begins to dissolve into the background. This is why many people begin to change and suddenly feel weaker, more sensitive, more easily activated. In truth, this is a sign that you are standing near the boundary between two frequencies. The new self is opening a new space for you, while the old self releases its final echoes to see whether you still want to keep it. This echo appears in three distinct forms. The first form is emotion. Old fears that once made you stop will rise again, not to defeat you, but to ask you one final question. Do you want to continue living the old way, or are you ready to step out? The second form is memory. Images, stories, and people who once hurt you will appear in your mind, not to remind you that you are weak, but to give you a chance to see them from a new perspective. A perspective not of a victim, but of someone who is shifting. The third form is the reaction of the body. Waves of anxiety, quickened heartbeat, tightness in the chest, heaviness in the stomach. All are signs that the nervous system is recalibrating to a new rhythm. When old energy leaves the body, it always creates movement, and the body feels that movement as a kind of vibration. The most important thing is not to misunderstand this phenomenon. The echo is not the old self returning, it is only a residue, a dying form of energy. It has no power to pull you back unless you walk back toward it yourself. When you see this clearly, you will stop overreacting to old emotions. You will see them like passing clouds. They appear to be acknowledged and then they leave. The only thing that strengthens the echo is when you resist it. When you try to erase it immediately, you accidentally give it more force. But when you allow it to pass, when you breathe slowly and let the body regulate itself, the old self fades and gives space for the new frequency. This is the moment where many people give up, not because they are weak, but because they misunderstand the signal. They think the echo means they are going backward. But the truth is, the echo only appears when you have already moved farther than you think. A person who is truly stuck will hear no echo at all. Only someone who is shifting can sense this vibration. It is like leaving a room and still hearing your own voice for a few seconds. You are not going back. You are moving into a new space faster than the old echo can follow. Your new self is forming in the middle of these residues. It does not need you to be perfect. It only needs you to be awake enough not to confuse the echo with the truth. The echo has no authority. It is simply the sign that the old cycle is about to end. When you truly understand this, you will feel a lightness in your chest, like you have just set down a stone you carried for years. And in that lightness, you begin to see clearly that the only thing you need to do is to keep moving toward the place you are being pulled. If this passage touches you, gently tap like to help this energy continue expanding in the field. One small touch is enough to affirm that you are ready for the old self to become nothing more than an echo and never return as a reality again. The moment you step out of the echo loop is not a loud or dramatic moment like the stories people often tell. It does not arrive in excitement, and it does not appear when you try to push yourself one more time. It usually comes in a very quiet second when you suddenly realize that you are sitting in the middle of the echoes of your old self but are no longer being led by them. It is the moment when you hear the echo but do not react. You feel the familiar fear rising, but your body does not tighten the way it used to. You see old memories appear but no longer feel swallowed by them. In that moment of non-reaction, you break the echo loop your old self has created for many years. The echo loop has no power of its own. It survives through your reactions. Each time you believe it, follow it, fear it, or fight it, you unintentionally feed it so it can echo one more round. But when you stop, when you see it clearly while maintaining a steady breath, you cut off its source of fuel. This is the essence of shifting, where you do not have to defeat anything. You only need to stop feeding your old reactions. Your body is designed to self-regulate. When you stop sending panic commands, it will naturally lower frequency, naturally restore balance. The hardest part is not changing the outer life, but stopping exactly at the point where you once reacted out of your old instinct. That is where the echo loop breaks. You break the echo loop not by force, but by non-participation. When an old emotion rises and you do not follow it, you begin to change your own structure. When a familiar reaction appears and you do not let your body fall into the old rhythm, you are recalibrating the nervous system. When an old fear surfaces and you do not treat it as a threat, you are creating a new frequency stronger than the frequency of memory. There are moments when you will sense two versions of yourself standing side by side. One old version wants to pull you back to what is familiar. One new version is opening a wider space. Both exist at the same time, but only one is truly alive. The old version only repeats what it knows. The new version is carving the way forward. When you choose silence between these two versions, without resisting, without fear, without over-analyzing, you are choosing the new version in the clearest way possible. This silence is not surrender. It is the silence of someone awakening, silence of observation without attachment, silence of a frequency stabilizing itself inside you. That is why the moment of shift always begins lightly. A sensation like your body expanding, a sudden deep breath, a small nod to yourself when you see the old self without being haunted by it, a gentle clarity when you realize you do not need to run, you do not need to prove, you do not need to brace yourself. You only need to stay still and let the echo loop shut down on its own. The old echo does not disappear immediately. It fades layer by layer, but each time you remain in observation, each time you do not fall into the old reaction, you are removing a piece of old energy from your body. You change not through constant effort, but through small moments of awareness, moments in which you notice yourself wanting to react in the old way, but have enough space to choose a different rhythm. This is the real shift, a shift that happens in seconds that seem insignificant. In a conversation where you once became easily triggered, but now you remain calm. In a situation that once felt threatening, but now you can stay present longer. In a thought you once believed was truth, but now you see it as a distant echo. Each time this happens, you are breaking the echo loop in real time. And the new self takes root in the moments when you are no longer pulled back. One of the clearest signs of the shift is that you begin to feel empty, but no longer fear this emptiness. Emptiness is not a void of meaning. Emptiness is the space where the old frequency is left and the new frequency is preparing to form. When you can stand in this emptiness without trying to fill it with an old reaction, the echo loop breaks. This is the phase where the body relearns how to exist in a new rhythm. It is like a musical instrument being retuned. The first sound is not perfect, but it is the sound that signals accuracy returning. Your body is the same. When you stop reacting in the old way, the body receives the message that the defense system is no longer needed in this situation. And when the nervous system learns this, you begin to live in the new frequency naturally, not forced, not performed, not held together. You simply no longer belong to the old emotional landscape. When the echo loop breaks, you will notice something very subtle. Old emotions may still appear, but they feel like a light breeze on the skin instead of the storm that once swept you away. Old memories may still surface, but they feel like someone else's story rather than your identity. Old reactions may still flash, but you see them so quickly that they no longer get the chance to take over. That is when you know you have stepped into a different reality. Not because the outer world changed instantly, but because you changed your inner rhythm first. And when the inner rhythm changes, the outer reality aligns on its own. This is how you break the echo loop. Not by resisting it, but by not merging with its old rhythm. When you can hold this, the echo loop dissolves, and you enter an entirely new energetic chapter without having to force yourself forward. You simply stop returning to a rhythm you have already outgrown. Living in the new frequency is not something you do once and keep forever. It is a rhythm built from small choices repeated every day, from how you respond to familiar situations to how you treat yourself when no one is watching. The new frequency does not arrive as a huge wave carrying you into another life. It comes as subtle movements that you will miss if you are not present enough. But once you have touched the new frequency, your body and your life begin to show you very clear signs. They are the moments when you react differently without effort, the times when you stay calm in places where you once easily collapsed, the moments when you make choices that are good for you without inner conflict, the seconds when you feel an openness in your chest, a lightness as if your body has finally aligned with the place you are moving toward. Living in the new frequency begins with allowing your body to stabilize in a different rhythm. This rhythm does not chase anxiety like before. It does not try to control the future. It does not rely on fear to make decisions. The new rhythm comes from knowing that you no longer need to prove anything. You do not need to fight life, and you do not need to run from it. You begin to move with clarity and inner reliability, as if there is a quiet orchestration breathing alongside you. The first thing that changes is the way you see the world. Things that once triggered you suddenly feel less heavy. People who once exhausted you can no longer reach the deepest part of you. Situations that once made you tense no longer make your body contract the way they used to. You do not avoid them, but you are not pulled into them either. This is the unmistakable sign that the new frequency is forming in you. It does not remove challenges. It changes the way you stand in front of them. The next thing that changes is the way you speak to yourself. The inner voice becomes gentler. No longer the familiar scolding, no longer the pressure to always be right, always perfect, always strong. You begin to speak to yourself with kindness. This kindness is not empty reassurance, but the recognition that you are finally moving in the right direction. When the inner voice shifts, the outer behavior shifts as well. You no longer choose things that make you contract. You choose things that make you expand. You no longer maintain relationships that make you shrink. You bring your energy toward the places that help you grow. You no longer say yes out of fear of disappointing others. You say yes when you truly want to, and you say no when you need to protect your space. These changes are small but powerful enough to restructure an entire life. When you live in the new frequency, your body becomes the guide. It tells you what is right through expansion and what is wrong through contraction. You no longer need to analyze everything as much as before. You only need to listen to your body. It always knows before the mind. The most important thing is that you do not expect the new frequency to immediately erase all old challenges. It does not work that way. Challenges still appear, but you meet them with a different rhythm. If you once reacted with fear, now you respond with calm. If you once tried to run, now you stand still and observe. If you once let emotions decide everything, now you decide first and the emotions adjust naturally afterward. When you can hold this rhythm, the field begins rearranging everything around you. People shift, opportunities shift, environments shift. Even the way time moves shifts. Things that once arrived late now arrive on time. Things that once felt difficult suddenly feel easier. Pieces that once felt scattered suddenly fall into place naturally. The new frequency does not require you to drag your life forward. It only requires that you do not drag yourself backward. You live in the new frequency by choosing every day not to return to the old reaction. And you have truly merged with it when you begin to feel lightness, even if the outer life has not changed much. That lightness is proof that you have changed your rhythm. And once the inner rhythm changes, the outer reality is only a matter of time. When you reach the end of this phase and look back, you will realize you did not need any miracle. You only needed consistency with the version of yourself you are becoming. A version no longer led by old echoes, no longer pulled into familiar loops, no longer reacting from fear, but acting from clarity and stability. And if you are reading this line, you have gone farther than you think. You are standing exactly in the space where your life can begin to shift in the direction you have always wanted. I wish you, my dear viewer, the ability to keep this lightness in your heart. I wish you to enter each day with a peaceful rhythm, an open attitude, and a quiet courage, as steady as the light inside you. And no matter where you are on your journey, remember that you are not alone. The field walks with you, and I am always grateful to walk beside you as you become the strongest version of yourself.